today we're going to model multiplication decimals with products, hundreds using visuals. I will solve multiplication problems using strip diagrams and hundreds grid sheet to solve the problems. Okay, so first we know we're going to do multiplication by using these hundreds, whole numbers, right?
Yes.
So we know how to multiply 3 times 2. How would you show that using these right here, the base 10?
You would get 3 of the base 10.
Okay, so 3 of these, right?
Yes.
These are whole numbers.
Yeah. And then you would get another 3 of them to make another column.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then since this is one of the 3s, you have another 3.
Okay, so you have an array. This is an array, right? You have whole numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So you do 3. You have 3 columns and you have 2 rows. So that equals, what's your answer?
6.
6, right? Okay, so we know how to multiply whole numbers. Do you know how we would model a decimal? So we have, say we have 1 and a 4th, right? This is called 1 and a 4th. So 1 and 4 tenths. Right? Not a fourth, I'm sorry, 4 tenths, right? How would you do that using the base 10 blocks?
You would get one of these,
Mm-hmm.
and you would get 4 tenths.
4 tenths, right?
Tenths.
Because this position is the tenths place.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay, so now we multiply 2 whole numbers and we know what a decimal represents. 1 whole number and tenths of a whole number, 4 tenths of a whole number, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how would we multiply a decimal? Let's use the same number, 1 and 4 tenths.
1 and 4 tenths.
Right, let's do it times 2 times. How would you represent that number? 1
You would get
and 4 tenths times 2. How would you do that?
First, you'd make your 1 and 4 tenths.
Okay, you will make 1 and 4 tenths. Good.
And then since it's time 2, you have to make another column.
Make another column. Okay. So 1 and 4 tenths.
1.
Okay. So 1 and 4 tenths. So how would you, using those, how does that help you know the answer to this?
Because you can just count them.
Count them. Okay. So how can you count them? Can you show me how you count them?
Since 1 and 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 1 and that's 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can make another one. So this is 2, and you just add up these.
So how many whole numbers do you have?
2 and 8 tenths.
2. So you have 2. You can see 2, and then you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 tenths. Right? So that's how you would do it. Now we're going to multiply using. So we know how to do that. Now we're going to multiply doing this. So we use this number, 3 times 2. So now we're going to multiply using tenths. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, to do that on a grid, we're going to have to color in the tenths place. Now we're using the hundreds grid here. Okay, people get confused sometimes and they say, oh, well, since we have 3 tenths, and we're going to do that 2 times, that's my answer. Well, not exactly. Because now we're going to use the hundreds grid, and that's different than using this, because now we're using decimals, and there's a different way to multiply with decimals. With decimals, we're using hundreds grids, and we're going to use the tenths, right? So we're doing this one, we're going to do it with one color. So we're going to have to shade in 3 tenths, right?
Yes.
This is 3 tenths. And then, to multiply this number, we are not going to shade, we're going to shade in 2 tenths, but we're going to shade it with a different color. Let's do it brown. And now we're not going to shade it next to it, we're actually doing it vertically. Okay, and I'll let you know why. So we're going to color in this. So in order to find the answer, The answer will actually be where they overlap, right here. So the difference is that we're not dealing with tenths now when we get the product, because a decimal moves when you multiply.
Yeah, you're dealing with how they overlap.
How they overlap in the hundreds now. Okay, so what would the answer be? How would you write that answer? So now we dealt with knowing where the tens place was, right here, but now we're dealing with hundreds grid. So it's how would that number look? You want to show me? What would our product be? Okay, so our product would be in the hundreds place now. So instead of it being here, we're dealing it here with the hundreds places. Okay, so now, since you kind of know how to do that, you're going to show me. And you're going, and I gave him one of these, which is 8 tenths times 3 tenths. And we're going to glue it on here. I'm going to glue it on there. So, okay, good. And now you're going to show me how your answer using that. So you can use that color if you want, or you can choose a color to do your 8 tenths. How would you represent that number?
You would put 8 going this way, and you put 3 going this way.
Okay, so he's representing 8 going vertically. How would you represent the 3 tenths?
You would make it going this.
Okay, so going horizontally, using a different color. Okay, can you show me where they overlap using this? How many is that?
That is, that's 24.
24. So is it 24, or what is how would you write that?
You write it.
There you go. So he wrote it putting 24 hundredths. So this represents 24 hundredths when they overlap. Even if you put these numbers down here, if he did it down here, it would be the same thing, because he's putting it vertically down. He can do it from the bottom up. So now when you're multiplying two decimals, you're dealing, instead of dealing with these, you are dealing with the hundredths grade. You're dealing with these, because when you multiply, let's say we multiply 0.8 times I'm sorry, I should talk like that. You should do 8 tenths times 3 tenths. So we know 8 times 3 is 24. So in order to show them this, they have to count the decimal places.
Yes.
Going that way. So that'll be 1 and then 2. So they'll have to count from here. Right?
Yes.
1. Am I doing it wrong? No. I'll have to count this way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You have to count this way, I'm sorry. So it'll be 1, 2. And they'll put the decimal place there. So they'll count 1, 2, and they'll go this way. 1, 2. And then they'll put their 0.
Yeah.
So now their answer is 0.24. It's the same thing as that. So that's how they would show the students how to do it. There's another one, because I kind of confused you. So it would be multiplying that way. So know that 4 times 3 is 12, right?
Yes.
And we counted how many decimal places? 1, 2. Starting from here, 1, 2. So decimal there, 0 there. Okay. That's it. Stop it.